I am going to introduce Stephen, who I think many of you who are here know Stephen. Stephen and Simon have worked together for many years with Denver Business Coach, and Stephen is now the CEO of Denver Business Coach. He's been coaching business owners for a number of years and has a really extensive background that he brings, and has also specialized training in really helping business owners prepare their businesses to sell. So while he works with business owners of all shapes and sizes, that is kind of his target and his specialty. We're really excited to have you here today, Stephen. It's all yours.
Awesome, thanks. I'm excited to be here and to present this. This subject is something I really enjoy talking about, and I think it's a super important thing for all businesses to really consider. Having a recurring revenue stream is something that is going to be highly sought after, is already highly sought after. So to think about it in many different strategies and ways to implement it within your business, even if you think you have a business that you can't have that with, is important. So I'm going to go ahead and share this. Oops. I need sharing capability.
Oh, sorry about that. That would help you. There you go.
Let's put this up here. First, going through a little bit of housekeeping here. I'll be asking questions throughout of you guys. You know, a lot of my style for presentations is discussion style. I know that's a little bit difficult to do through Zoom. So I'll do my best to be engaging and to be asking questions. So just be aware of where your mute and unmute button is throughout. Throughout this whole presentation, be asking, how could this model apply to me? What part of this model could apply to my business? At the end of this, we'll talk a little bit about, chopping up a few of these and creating your own, or just implementing as is. So, throughout this whole piece, just continuously be asking those. If you do have any questions throughout, please feel free to interrupt me. I don't care. I will not be offended. But if you want to do it silently, Sharon's going to be watching the chat box, so make sure you know where that is too. Again, feel free to stop me at any point if any questions come up. Sound good? I see nods, so we'll
yes.
Keep going. Let's see here. There we go. So a little bit about the agenda today. We're going to be talking about what is monthly recurring revenue, how can it apply to me, and why is it important. We'll talk about the 9 different models. There are more than 9. We probably won't get through all 9, but we'll get there when we get there and decide which ones are important to go through today. And then towards the end, we'll be talking a little bit about how can you actually implement this. A lot of these things are, it sounds like a great idea. That's a cool strategy, cool thought. But how do I do it? And I want to make sure that we really hit that piece here in a simple way that you guys can take back and really think about can I apply this, and with some step-by-steps here. So little selfish plug here. Denver Business Coach is about building better businesses. As Sharon alluded to, when you have a better business, you are really able to do a whole lot more with it. You're not being subjected to industry ebbs and flows. You're able to really create your own schedule. And many of us can do that as a solopreneur. But it can be dictated by how the business is going. So we really try to aim at creating businesses that can be seen as an asset for the business owner. They can actually do something with if they decide to, either pass it on or sell it or become an advisor. And so there's a lot of different options there. So we really focus on creating better businesses. That's my selfish plug. So monthly recurring revenue stream, the definition of this is a subscription or membership or contract to a service or product that is paid. The high degree of certainty is a important piece to be paying attention to here, which is why this increases the value of businesses so much, is because it's predictable. You can say, okay, I have one person who is subscribed to my membership offering, and they have essentially committed a certain duration of time to be a part of that membership community. So by being able to have something like that, you're just increasing the degree of which you can make decisions. So I want to ask here, what are some well-known memberships or subscription models that either you are a part of or that you know of? That's that mute button piece here.
Well, like annual Amazon, subscription, Instacart subscription, Netflix subscription.
Netflix is good. Amazon, yeah, definitely.
This is Dean. Our program is all about monthly subscription to manage your either telephone services or your internet services. We manage people's computers all on a monthly subscription, so you don't have to worry about it, or the business owner doesn't have to worry about it.
Awesome. So your whole business model is around this concept here.
Totally.
Awesome. And that's an important piece here. We will be talking towards that strategy piece of the retention part of that, which I'm sure you're aware of the importance of that piece. There's a couple models here that are known. That cloud is iCloud, right? It's storage. So that's something that most business owners are familiar with, and even consumers. That's where they can store their photos and pictures up in the cloud. And you pay a certain subscription amount, $299.99. They have different tiers and levels of how much data can be stored on there. The Amazon Prime, which is mentioned, HubSpot is that freemium model. If anyone ever uses HubSpot, you can get that. You can use a couple of different features of it for free, but if you want a little bit more, you got to pay a little bit more. So it's that freemium model. We're not talking about that one today. But that is something that is used highly often in software as a service companies. And that bottom one is Spotify. I love Spotify. It's one of my non-negotiables on my monthly budget because I don't like listening to commercials while I'm listening to music, so I pay a subscription to that. So just to give you an idea of some big companies that utilize this type of revenue stream, and Amazon's done a very, very good job of capitalizing on this. So I'm going to start off with a little bit of Maslow here. I'm sure some of you are familiar with Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? This is important here to understand a part of the why here. Memberships and subscriptions, you become a part of a community, and that really adheres to that belonging need. People want to be wanted, right? They want to be a part of a community. They want to be cared for in that way. They want to have some sort of partnership and say that they're a part of something. And that really adheres to the belonging needs. So this is, creating something good and being able to really cater to your members satisfies that. And I just have that little piece up there. So it really strengthens the community when you're able to build something like this. Any questions on Maslow? Okay. To solidify that, having a good recurring revenue stream helps you with forecasting. So as I kind of alluded to before, you can really help with prediction and churn for being able to understand where to grow, how to grow, what are the cycles, how can I best prepare for this, and make better strategic decisions for the future. If you're increasing membership by 5 month over month, you can then plan for what am I going to be at in 5 months? What does that revenue look like? How can I distribute that? Do I use it for marketing? Do I use it to hire? So you can really help plan and strategize more, which helps you not live that day to day, which a lot of us as small business owners rely on and have been so familiar with. So the forecasting piece is super, super important of what you can really have happen with a recurring revenue stream. You increase the value of your business, as I mentioned before. It's a highly sought after piece of information from any type of business. Improve the cash flow. And the most important one is you decrease the stress, right? When you have that reliability in your business and you can have that high predictability of where your income is coming from and when it's coming, that just decreases the stress of your business. I know a lot of business owners that do live month to month saying, all right, I need to hit this break-even point in order to, make it, in order to survive, in order to keep the business going. And if they're doing one-off sales all the time, that's a lot of hustle. That's a lot of stress, day after day after day. And if you are able to build in some sort of recurring stream here, that stress level is going to start to dissipate, which is really important. That's what we go for at Denver Business Coach is helping our business owners create that more of a sustainable business model that does make running and owning a business more enjoyable, which is less stressful. Good. Now we're going to jump into the actual models here. So we have 9 today, and I don't think we'll be able to get to them all. We might be able to, but I'm going to ask you guys, as I'm describing them, mark down which one you think most applies to you and that you would want to hear about it. Either your top 3 would be good, and then I'll ask you after this piece here. So the private club model is really talking about exclusivity. So, what can you offer that's at a high degree or rare, if you will, and it can be seen as a club itself. So what you have there is highly desired, but might not be, it hasn't reached that commodity piece yet, right? Simplifier Model is one of my favorites. I think it's a pretty easy one, fairly easy one to implement. That's for services that are asked for at a continuous basis. So anything that's really might not be fun to buy or ask for or schedule or anything like that, and really coming to and putting it on the calendar and having someone subscribe and remind for you that this is going to happen. Surprise Box Model is a product-based recurring revenue model. That's something where people will subscribe to your service and your product because they rely on the quality of what's coming on to them. Whether it's super niche oriented as well. I actually really like that one. So I might just touch on that one anyway. The all-you-can-eat library is when you have a vast array of information that people can have access to. Front of the line model is a really good one as well. That's people can pay for skipping the line. If you have a highly sought after service, like creating marketing videos and your service is highly in demand and someone needs a video right now, they can jump the line if they're a part of your subscription. This is also good for emergency-based situation businesses as well. Membership website model. This is a fun one too. You can have a portal on your website. It's similar to All You Can Eat in that you can have a vast array of information behind this portal. It's continuously updated, and what comes along with this is support as well. The big difference there is All You Can Eat is more of that. It's a library. You go and pick and choose what you want, and where the membership website model is, you have a little bit of support behind that. The network model is based on, networking. The more people that are a part of it, the more valuable it is. Consumables model, think razors. Now we'll talk a little bit about that example, something that is used often and depleted quickly. Peace of Mind's model is, this is a good one to talk about too. So Peace of Mind model is insurance in a way, not necessarily an insurance agency, but any type of service is assuring that what they're able to provide is high quality, it's going to last, and they can come to you for that certain piece if they're paying to be a part of that subscription or that membership and say, hey, I need XYZ done. You said it would be done this way. It's not done that way. So you're just they're paying to make sure that things are staying up to date, upkept, parts like there. So that is the end of this slide. Now it's my turn to ask you another question. Which ones do you guys think you would like to hear from first? And if we can get to them all, we can get to them all, but I at least want to prioritize a few of these and see if we can hit those first, and then we can go back. So what do you think?
Stephen, can I ask a question?
Yeah, please.
Because as you went through some of these, I kind of thought maybe my industry would relate, but I don't know. I guess, I go, man, I'm a therapist and I meet with people and do life strategy and coping and all kinds of things. You tell me.
Yeah. For you, Keith, the front of the line model is probably going to apply the most. So I'll put that on the list too. I like that one a lot. So that's definitely one we'll go through.
I was trying to think of what would be most applicable to like a model where they get a certain number of surveys every month or every quarter. I don't know what category that would fall into.
Yeah, that's a good one. I would probably have that one fall into the website membership.
Okay.
That's the type that like SurveyMonkey uses. So you subscribe to a certain number of surveys that you can produce and where those are distributed, and that's part of there. These are, we'll talk about examples in each one of these, but the application can be across a bunch of different industries, which is cool.
Okay.
But that one, we'll do that one for sure.
Thank you.
I'm thinking either the all-you-can-eat or Simplifier model.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. So we'll go through this. We'll do front of line, website, all you can eat, and Simplifier. And then if we have time to circle back around on some of these, we definitely will. And I will do surprise box because that's one of my favorites. All right, so let me see if I can skip this queue here. We'll start with Simplifier model because it's closest. So again, this is taking the service and providing a service that someone does not have to pay attention to. It's the set and forget type model. So a best fit is that personal service. Is this on a weekly schedule? A lot of people who like subscribing to these, don't like doing what you're providing themselves. So it's a best fit for, someone who hates cleaning, for instance, or doesn't like messing around with maintenance around the house. That's another really good example for the Simplifier model. An example here is, the handyman service, which I put up, is you can subscribe to a handyman service and say, here's my to-do list around the house, or walk with them and say, here's what needs to happen at my house. I don't want to have to call you to schedule every single time. So here's a monthly fee. You just come whenever you're able to get me on your schedule and just start working down the list. That's one I really like. It's being able to provide ease of upkeep and care for your clients, for your customers, and being able to take away the forgetfulness of these types of activities, right? I forgot about my recent haircut, as you might be able to tell, because I forgot to put it on my schedule and to schedule that. So that's something that I usually always do while I'm there. And it's the 5th Wednesday of every 5 Wednesdays at 5 o'clock is usually when I get a haircut. I forgot to do it this time, and I forgot. And this is the 5th Wednesday, or yesterday was the 5th Wednesday, and I wasn't on the schedule and didn't get my haircut. So being able to put something on there that really eliminates the need for someone to remind themselves to do something. Does that make sense? Pest control is a really cool one. When you're calling a pest company, there's usually a problem, right? So there's bugs, there's a mouse, there's something that you want to get rid of that you don't like in your house. And what a pest control company can come in and do is say, hey, I can come in here every time you have a problem, or you can be a member of my pest control service and you won't ever have this problem ever again. This is really good for that maintenance stuff. So if you're a service that goes out to your customer because of a problem, this is where you can actually cut off the problem occurring by doing the upkeep and the maintenance itself. I know a couple plumbers that have a model like this as well.
We use the pest control. It does the same every quarter. They're just here anyway, and it's been great.
Isn't that? Yeah, it's easy. You don't have to remind yourself about it, and it's taken care of.
Yeah, you don't have to go, oh my God, I better call a guy out here. You forget to do it, and it's still there. So yeah, it's perfect. Yeah.
Right, exactly. I know someone who has a bat problem, and a bat always ends up coming to their house and making some sort of nest every couple months or so, and they always have to call out the pest control company and say, get rid of this bat. And it's one of those things where it's reactive, right, instead of proactive. And what the Simplifier model does is really hits that proactive piece and says, hey, if we do the right things before the issue arises, we can cut it off, and then you won't have that problem. People pay for that. That's of huge value to a lot of people out there. And that's where the Simplifier model really comes into play.
And Dean, would you say like your tech kind of subscription like falls into this category too?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, as we were talking through that, absolutely. I don't want to mess with the updates that are required on my computer. Let me just let it happen.
Yeah.
And we manage that for them.
That's one of those for like a marketing company. I was actually just having this conversation today for SEO. I know we all know how important SEO is, but none of us really know what it is or how to do it. And that's that's the exact conversation I had with them. I was like, I don't need to know how it works or what to do about it. I just need it done, taken care of. So a lot of SEO companies are able to provide this type of service for their clients. Hey, let me take this off your hands. Don't worry about it. It's going to be good. Now, finding a good one is a whole different story. But when you do, this is the model that they usually will subscribe to on that. Does anyone else have a business in here that they think this model applies to that they may not have used it yet? Or a friend that might have it, or a colleague, anything in there?
We have a website maintenance service that's sort of a combination of this and the peace of mind model.
Mm-hmm. Are they're able to just make updates to the website without scheduling anything, or?
Right. Yeah, we keep everything updated. They can ask for content updates, and we'll take care of it for them. That sort of thing.
Mm-hmm. Good. And that's reoccurring. You don't have to. That's set and forget. You don't have to do anything about it. Cool. Mm-hmm. yeah, the good way to remember this one is to set and forget.
Yeah, very similar to that, website security as well. I just came across a company that charged a monthly retainer just to make sure that you're protected from cyber attacks and make sure your spyware is updated, antivirus, and so forth.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's, again, another one of those set and forget things. IT security is huge with that. It's I don't want to be able to schedule when I need security. I want security all the time. I want it to be updated, and I don't want any break-ins. So this being able to offer some sort of service for that is highly valuable.
Mm-hmm.
Good. Good. Any questions on this one yet? Fantastic. Let me jump to, let's look. All you can eat is here. All you can eat. So as I introduced this one, it was having a wide array of content that someone has access to and can flip through. So literally like going to a library and picking out a book. You might not know what book you want. You could know the genre. You could know what style. Is it a business book? Is it a fantasy book? Netflix really was able to capitalize on this type of model by saying, here's a giant source of TV shows, movies, videos across all different countries in all different languages, big films, small films, and then it's up to you to choose which one you want to use, right? I don't know about you guys, but I've spent probably at most 45 minutes looking for something that I wanted to watch. Anyone else guilty of that?
Made me look bad. I'm out getting grass.
Yeah, and so this one is the important piece about this one is being able to have that type of content that is evergreen. It's not necessarily tied to a date or tied to an event or tied to news or anything going on there. This is something that people can look at, subscribe to, and be able to use at their own pace. These are most successful, aside from Netflix, if you don't have millions of dollars of marketing, if you already have a pretty good client base that already uses your service and uses your expertise,
John,
and you have tools.
I said, we've got it, and I'm not watching.
Okay.
Sure, everyone is muted also, unless you're directly asking Stephen a question. There's a little bit of background noise. Thank you.
So yeah, being able to have that client base as is important to be able to have the launch of this successful, if that makes sense. Who in this room has a content library? Part of this could be tools as well. So Laura, do you have a number of survey tools that you use, or do you kind of customize it per?
I do customize it, but I have certain survey tools that I use for different types of surveys.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you could have like a standard set of tools that people could use if they wanted to, if they're able to conduct a survey. So this could be good. It might not be the absolute best because the service that you provide is doing the survey, right? And being able to conduct that and use that model. But I know marketing companies are fans of this one, where they can have a portal or a part of their websites that says, hey, if you subscribe here, we have a wide array of tools that you can use to help better your marketing, or reference guides or something along there that really helps them do their job easier. So that's kind of how it can relate to business a little bit. trainers and health coaches in the fitness industry are really known for doing a good job at this as well. I know a couple trainers that have that online work from home portal. A lot of them capitalized on it during COVID. So for being able to say, hey, workouts need to happen, gyms are closed, give me $20 a month and you'll have access to new videos, and you can access them in perpetuity moving forward. So being able to provide that level of content and choice, it's almost like a do-it-yourself option of which area do I really want to improve on. Okay, I'm going to go to this service, I'm going to subscribe to that service, and then I'll pick and choose what I want to use.
Stephen, can I ask a question?
Yeah, please.
In regards to content, content today is so easily available that I think it seems harder to sell. There's a lot of great content for free. And so I just wonder what your thoughts are about the idea of content anymore. And how do you, make it a subscription or market or sell it?
Yeah, that's a great question, because it is true. The internet is full of content. The caveat here, where you can really differentiate, is that existing fan base. They already know that you're good, right? So that's one thing. And because there's so much crap out on the internet, you don't know what is good, what's not good. And if you're a trusted source for that type of content, people will be able to will trust your content that you're being able to produce. The other piece about that is the free downloadable content that is out there in, PDFs, ebooks, those sorts of things. It's mostly surface level stuff. I download those a lot just to see what's out there, what people are talking about. And for the most part, it's a lot of surface level stuff. You're not going to get the real value through a lot of that free content. And I think a lot of businesses are able to capitalize on that, of the things that are super valuable, that are really actionable. Marketing companies keep coming to mind. If they have like a really good strategy, you need to create content, you need to write a blog post about what you're doing. This is the step-by-step actionable stuff, and I show you how to do it, and I help you do it in that manner. It's not the website membership, so it's not that one-on-one type support or one-to-many type support, but being able to show how to use a tool that you can put on an all-you-can-eat library is what's really going to separate that one.
Stephen, can I just add something really quick?
Please.
Because I had an experience where I did like a 30-day virtual workout program, right, with a coach. But it was different because she was somebody, she offered a personal piece to it. She was somebody who I had actually met, so I was more attracted to doing her course versus like just, somebody I didn't know. But she also offered a personal like accountability. She was like, send me an email every day, or you're part of the group text, or so that you're like part of a community. And then there's like some aspect of relationship. So she probably spent 15 minutes on me the whole month, but I felt like I was having a personal relationship, so I think there's something about that like personal touch that is a big differentiator also in terms of content.
Yeah, when you're creating those types of videos, especially, and it certainly helped that you knew the person prior as well. So it's a trusted, reliable source. You're going to feel a little bit more wary going into some fitness health trainer, coach person that you don't know, and you're like, is this person really good? I'm not really sure. So you were more reluctant to actually purchase a subscription or a membership to what they're able to provide from a content perspective.
Sharon, that just made a lot of sense to me for some reason, and kind of triggered an idea. So thanks for sharing that. That was very practical, and that was good.
Well, and I think for your industry, that's super important, right? Because it's mental health. You know, people need to know that somebody really cares and that there's some kind of like personal touch there. So good.
Yeah, it made me think that, you know, in my industry, people want sometimes someone every day to remind about this skill or to do this practice or to do this routine or ritual, you know, and someone they trust to kind of keep them on board, on track, versus they come in a week later and go, oh, I did it once, but you know, you know, and so that just gave me some ideas. So yeah, that was good. Thanks.
Awesome. Good. Does anyone else see how this can apply to their business or any other businesses they know?
Yeah, I'll speak up again here. As part of the marketing coaching program that I'm a licensee for, we have this entire video library of tips and tactics and strategies, as well as a library of templates that you can just fill in the blank kind of stuff. So.
Awesome. Yeah. We at Denver Business Coach, we are subscribers to the Value Builder, which is an all-you-can-eat library model. So what they're able to provide is content, so presentations, blog articles, insights, research. They can provide tips, and it's constantly updated for us to be able to access and use on our own, however way we see fit. Because we have that subscription, they allow us to do that and have access to that content behind the scenes. So that's another way. That's not even directly using like direct to consumer. Here's stuff that can help you better what you are doing within your business too. So we want to be able to be that supporting source for research, content, so on and so forth. Good. Any other questions on this one here? Good. So let's see what's next. Easy. Front of the line model. This is really one of my favorites, and what I try to apply with a lot of people that I work with is, you know, if you have any type of service, and especially if it's some sort of emergency type service that needs to be done, right now, right? There's no scheduling. This needs to be done now, or it's going to be a big problem. That's the front of the line model. Someone can pay a little bit extra in order to skip the queue. So I put Salesforce on here. Salesforce has a really, really good example of this. Is they have, you can have your basic membership, and then I forget exactly what they call it, but the next tier up is they will give you a response within 15 hours, or they put a time limit on it. Otherwise, it's 48 hours. Something that's not important, and that it kind of ends up at the bottom of the queue. And then their top tier is called mission critical, and that warrants a 15-minute response, where the importance of that is revenue is lost if this issue is not addressed right away. So the businesses that really rely on Salesforce to drive revenue within their business, they subscribe to the mission critical, because if they have a problem and they need something done for them immediately, or they have a question that needs to be answered immediately, they have their support team. They have that dedicated source where they can call in and say, hey, this is a problem. I'm losing money. Help me. And people can pay for that. The other good one here I put on CDOT. Does anyone know why I put CDOT on there, or can think of why?
Express lanes?
Yeah, exactly. Express lanes. You can pay. I took a little bit of liberty on that one, but you can pay to get the use of the express lane and be at the front of the line during traffic. Really be able to skip that and not have to sit in it, and really speed past everyone else who doesn't pay for that ability to really speed past everyone else. So I thought that was kind of a cool little illustration of something that we experience every day if we're driving on the roads in Colorado, where we see people just flying by us, and they're paying to be able to do that, right? So I thought that was a cool little example there. The plumbers are good on this one too. So emergency services. So the customers of plumbers who do not subscribe to the Simplifier model that we talked to, the preventative maintenance, can then subscribe to the front of the line model, because if a pipe bursts, their house is going to be underwater if a plumber doesn't get out there right away. At any time of day, any time of night, they could call up their plumber that they're subscribed to, that they're a membership of, and that plumber will be there right away to fix the problem. So this one's really good for those types of emergency situations. Keith, the reason why I mentioned this one might be good for your services is because of the nature of your business. If someone's having a break and they need someone to talk to, like as you were kind of mentioning there, that's a service that certain clients could probably need or might possibly want.
Yeah, it is kind of built into these services now, unless I were to make an official 24-hour hotline, but then I'm tied to my work 24/7, but I don't want that either.
If you had a team, maybe, right?
Yeah, right. How else would this fit, do you think, in my kind of business?
I assume you have a regular schedule with your clients, right?
Pretty regular, yeah.
Pretty regular. So again, if someone, you need to be able to address problems in a lot of those situations quickly. If someone's really going through something and they don't want to wait till next Tuesday at 4:00, they can give you a call during business hours. You can obviously put a restrictions on that, and so you're not on call all the time. But being able to provide that service of, hey, within this certain time frame, and something happens, and you need to be able to talk to them, you can't wait till next week. This is how we can make that happen.
And that becomes a subscription somehow?
Yeah, so you could set that up in a way where, for an extra $20 a month, or whatever pricing makes the most sense, we can have, and I would come up with some type of creative way to frame it, but this ability to call me when you really need it, and you can't wait till our next session.
Okay, right, okay. All right, I'll have to mull it over a little bit, but that kind of makes some sense.
Yeah.
Stephen, is it correct to say that, I don't know, I'm thinking again, Keith, about you may have those kind of clients that are always pulling on you in a certain way like that, maybe they're always changing their appointment or always having these urgent, where they're okay, but they really want to, or they want to have that weekly check-in on top of their biweekly appointment or something. And so you could create a subscription category, and maybe you don't offer it to everybody, but when somebody starts kind of, then you offer them your concierge service, right? It's because you're going to give it to them anyways with something.
Yeah.
I don't know, my chiropractor did that with me. I was seeing her so often, and then she was like, I think you need my concierge plan. And I was like, yeah, I think you're right. And it's better for me and it's better for her, right? So, sometimes I think there's, anyways, these types of offers that maybe you don't offer to everybody, but you offer it to those clients that are kind of demanding a higher level of attention and time.
Yeah. That makes sense too. I even, thought about, I don't know what model this pertains to, where if they were to subscribe to X amount of sessions per month, a video a week, an email, newsletter, tip thing, and you get that every week, and that will be a package, right?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, and you're kind of combining a couple of different ones there, Keith. As
Right.
well.
So I was wondering, right?
Yeah, you're kind of pulling from a couple of different models there and saying this is my own type of strategy. That's where these 9 will come into play too. Is I like this part about this, and I also like this part about this. How can I combine them and create my own particular offering, which is cool.
Okay, so you can do that.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Hey, Steve.
Yeah.
Are there any strategies as far, if we set something like this up as far as a queue, or how do you have an influx of people that have an emergency? How do you, tier them or put them in the queue for the front of the line so that you can uphold that end of the service?
Yeah, that's a really hard question. I mean, with that one, it's tough. If you think of Excel. If power goes out, they need to go out and restore it. They can't do it all at once. So if an emergency, like true emergency situation happens, and someone needs to get to everyone right away, there's going to be somewhat of an understanding that might not be possible. The hope is that in the emergency type situation, that they're isolated events, and then it's much more manageable. But that's one of those situational things where I think it's more of an exception than the rule, where I think a lot of people, the ones who want to use this, it's not a constant thing. That's a different situation too. Any other questions on the front of line model or applications or suggestions on that one? Dean, I actually have a question for you here. Is this something that you come across with IT and security?
Especially on the support side, we've toyed with it more. If you pay more, you get 4-hour support versus 24-hour support, things like that. Mm-hmm. But so far, we haven't implemented anything like that. But I know a lot of people do that.
They'll do that. Okay. Yeah, I put IT. That should say security as well on there, because if someone has a breach, they need it taken care of right away.
Yeah, for usually a breach, that's pretty much all hands on deck. Everybody tries to scramble and get the problem taken care of.
Yeah, cool. Good. I'm going to go ahead and move to our 4th one. Oops. Now, the website membership model. This one's cool when you have a certain amount of expertise in a certain category. People can, similarly to the all-you-can-eat library, where the all-you-can-eat library is more of that, here's a whole bunch of stuff, you pick what it is. And this is more of a one-on-one hand-holding piece, especially with the travel agents, where they can they've traveled to places, they have certain relationships, they have certain accesses to certain deals. And if you're a subscriber to their website or their membership, you are a member of this travel agent, you can then also have access to these connections, these restaurants, these entertainment styles, and be able to get certain types of deals because of this travel agency has those certain types of relationships. When we're looking through, guitar teachers will have this too. If someone wants to learn from a particular guitar teacher, they can get those lessons and then also have continuous access to those lessons through a website membership.
This kind of makes sense to my industry too.
Mm-hmm. You got all of these, Keith.
All of
Yeah,
them.
you can take them all and implement them. But this one is really nice for that reason, and this is, it has more of that custom touch to it as opposed to the all-you-can-eat library. That's probably the biggest difference between this one and that one, is more of that closer touch to it. And we talk about here. It says the more tightly defined the niches, the better, as you're going to have people that want to have first access to whatever that niche is. So what just came to mind is craft coffee. Now, if you're a craft coffee member, you're going to get access to the best new coffee shops, best new beans, best new whatever coming through. And because you are so crazy about craft coffee and getting the best of the best, you're going to be able to subscribe to where are those popping up, what are those new locations, that type of insider information is where this website membership model can really be utilized. I used to work for a company that uses a model like this as well. They continuously update webinars, and they have software as a service tools as well that they continuously update for their subscribers only, that they can use on their own for those. Where that's a little bit different from the all-you-can-eat library is the library is more static. It's more consistently staying the same, where the website memberships, those are more continuously updated as opposed to the all-you-can-eat. This model is going to be more pricier than the all-you-can-eat library because of that reason, because of the customization ability to it, more of that insider information touch, and the expertise that business or that person has access to. I put member space up there because that is a third-party website membership tool that anyone can use on any type of website, where you can build that specific piece into your website and have a login and a portal where your clients, your customers, your buyers can log into and have access to all of your insider information. Good. That was a quick one. Any questions on that? Good.
I like that one a lot.
Yeah, this is really one of my favorites, and especially in the environment that we're in right now, with everything being so virtual, this one has become a lot more valuable to a lot more people. To be able to have this type of consistently updated information, that type of support for really good information that can be acted upon. This is becoming much more popular now. Sharon, how are we doing on time?
Good. Yeah,
Good?
it's 4:30 right now, so.
Okay, great. I'm going to pick one more, maybe two more. I want to touch on peace of mind. This is that insurance model piece where you can subscribe and be a member to whatever the service is in hopes that you never have to use it. That's what the peace of mind model is. So, if we think big insurance, we buy insurance before the catastrophic event. Some different smaller examples of that is Tag, and that's a pet tracker. If your pet ever gets loose or out, this service is able to provide the tracking of your dog, of your cat, of whatever gets out, to find them again. So that's in the worst case scenario, they get out or they get stolen. you'll be able to find them. So that's the same thing with LoJack, Radian 6 is the same deal there. They're just different applications of how to making sure that you don't have to use it, but you're just preparing for if you do, you're covered, you're set on that one. Good. Questions there? I just thought that was a good one to close out with in terms of the different strategies. Good. Now let's talk about the actual strategy to implement, whichever one you pick, or Keith, whichever one you want to mangle and create on your own. That's the first step here. Right? It's really being able to pick which one of these strategies applies to your business the most, or being able to pick different aspects of different strategies and create your own offering. When you're able to do this, it's, if you can pick and choose different aspects of different strategies, you're going to create your own better mousetrap, right? These 9 strategies are becoming more and more well-known and more well-known as a recurring revenue strategy. So if you're able to use these and create your own, that's going to be a differentiator from other people, because the membership economy, businesses are really starting to latch on to something like this, and consumers get smarter and smarter and smarter of, okay, I know what this is, I want to make sure that this is really worth it. And I will talk a little bit about here of a poor execution of that is Microsoft. Do you remember when we could buy Microsoft Office once and we would have it forever, for years? Microsoft saw all these other businesses, all these big companies, Amazon, the ones that we talked about before, with their recurring revenue, their monthly payments, and people jumping on these saying, yeah, this is great, this is worth it. What Microsoft did was train people for so long of being able to have access to this type of offering, and then said, never mind, pay us $10 a month and you can have access to the same thing. And at least for me, I was very frustrated with that, of being able to say, wait, that's going to equate to $1,000 instead of $100, with the longitude of how long I actually use it for. This is a terrible deal. Why are you doing this? Microsoft, not because of what I said to them, mind you, but they actually switched that up, and now it's more of a support system. You can pay a subscription for a support, tech support, which I've used a couple times, but I don't pay the regular subscription. I have Microsoft Office on my computer, and that's where it stays, and I don't pay any extra than what I paid for it originally. When I do have a problem, something doesn't go right within that application, I then go to their website and I subscribe for their tech support once, call them, have them jump on my computer, do what they need to do to fix the problem, and then I'll unsubscribe. That's something that we have to be aware of when we're implementing some of these strategies, of making sure that we're not training our people and then saying, actually, we're going to start doing it this way, when they're used to something else, because this is what's popular and this is what I want to do to make more money. That's not going to go over well. You're going to lose customers, you're going to lose clients. So make sure that what you're doing is adding more value and not necessarily just switching up how you're doing something. So that's an important piece there, and where I've seen, at least in big business, where that has failed. So make sure that what you're picking is still adding value in addition to your one-off serving. So I will talk. So there is a client I'm working with that uses a membership model in addition to the service that she provides as a chiropractor. You can come in on a one-off deal when something hurts and say, I need this adjusted, I need this fixed. And that's X amount of dollars. To be a member with her, you get a discount. You get a discounted price for the same type of thing, and it's a regularly occurring deal. It's something like a Simplifier model, where it's a recurring schedule, and it's already on there. It's happening. You don't have to remind yourself to schedule it. This is just when I go to the chiropractor, this is when I get adjusted. And for that discount, she's willing to be able to take a little bit less of a cut per client in order to have the regularity of people coming in to see her.
Okay, Steve, do you mind if I ask a question here?
Please, yeah.
Because this kind of gives me a way to think this through, an idea maybe. And Sharon, I appreciate your kind of, your check-in on this. So, because there are those clients who are kind of erratic or they're chaotic in their scheduling and things like that, But if I do like the first session is full price, but if you book the next 3 now at a reduced rate, then that's locked in, and then we can do that like each month or something like that. Is that kind of the idea? Does that sound like within ethic and everything?
Yeah, you're not changing up how you actually do it, right? You're adding more value to being able to execute what you already do, and probably do it better because of it. So with something like, in a situation like that, and if you have someone that has a chaotic schedule, and that is, to me, that would be very detrimental to my own schedule of not knowing exactly what I'm doing all the time each week by the hour. It would actually create somewhat of a stability for that person of saying, hey, let's just schedule this in. Let's put this in. Let's get it done. Let's make sure it happens and get it on the calendar and do that. So yeah, that's adding value to what you're already doing.
It adds value to it?
To your clients. Yes, absolutely. By being able to create that consistency.
Right.
And that
okay. Good. I may think this through. Maybe I'll try that.
Good.
Cool. All right. Thanks. That, if anything, I'll take that, man. That's cool.
He's out. He's done. I'm good.
I'm out. Take care. See you later.
So yeah, when you're able to pick your strategy or customize it, the offering piece, what you just described there, Keith, is the next step. Okay, this is the strategy I want to use. How does that actually apply to my business? What's the pricing? What's the scheduling? What's the tier rate? Are there tiers? What is that actual offering that you're going to sell? That is much harder than develop your offering sounds. Because what it's going to do is what you think is the perfect solution, they might not think it is. They might not see it, or it just might not be. So this part is really important to really have that Kaizen mentality, that continuous process improvement mentality of asking your customers, asking your clients, hey, is this something that you see that is of value? And this is how I see it's of value. Do you see it the same way? And then you can kind of adjust and make that happen and develop a better offering. With the client that I was just describing, we had to do that 3 times. We had to adjust the offering 3 times before we found something that people really latched onto and really liked. So it's just because you set it up doesn't mean it's going to be the right one or the perfect one, right? So just to be open and flexible with the offerings that you're developing, and know that you probably won't get it right the first time. The determining your target market, and I put this one on here as a specific piece because sometimes an offering that you can create is going to have a completely different target market than what you are currently servicing. Which is fine. It can still be within the same realm within your industry, right? But you might, if you're very specific with who you're working with, you might be able to create a different recurring revenue offering to a different subset of clients or customers. So if you are, I'll use Tony for instance. If you're using roofing companies and you go after roofing companies that have revenue between 2 million and 5 million, and they like the service that they've been getting, and they've been doing it for years, but you want to create this recurring revenue offering for these roofing companies that might not fit to that $2 to $5 million range, but it does fit to the $0 to $500,000 range. You know, they can see much more value in paying for something more consistently to help them get off the ground, or to help them do better service, or to delegate different areas of the business to you. So you're still servicing your go-to target market here, but it's also very, very possible that whatever strategy you come up with actually has a different target market within your same offering. Does that make sense? I know that one's kind of good. So after you really determine your target market, could be the same, could be different. What we want to be able to do is talk about it in a way that they can identify with and that they really get to see the value. So Keith, in your example there, it's being able to talk to the people that you're already talking to and translate the value to them. Creating that funnel, that top line awareness, if you're looking to just capture new clients, new patients, or if you're looking to talk to your current patient load, current clients, that's going to be, you're going to be talking about it in a different way. So just understanding how you're going to be talking about it, to what target market, and how you're going to offer that service to them is going to be an important way in order to actually fill that pipeline of the membership.
Right, that makes sense.
Begin testing the pitch. So that's, if I could draw an arrow back to develop the offerings, that's what we're talking there. So after you kind of have your target audience, you develop the messaging, test it. You know, is this something that you really like? And then you can repeat until you really figure out what that is. And that's where you solidify the offering and creating that funnel. So the funnel piece is important and often missed, of being able to develop this awesome recurring revenue stream that's of value to you. It's of value to the people that you serve, but no one knows about it. You know, how are you actually going to talk to people about it? How are they going to see it? How are you going to get in front of them? So creating the funnel is an important piece that needs to be done, because nothing good is created in that vacuum. And if you can't get it in front of people, other people can't realize how awesome it is. So being able to show that awareness, whatever that funnel is, you know, a common example is doing a Facebook ad that drives them to your website, that drives them to the membership offering, and then, or a phone call with you. And then you have that conversation with the person to determine if this subscription or this membership is right. You know, that's more for a more intricate level of service. You know, if you did like a website membership model, that you might not need to touch that one at all. You can tell people about it and just direct them to the page where they need to sign up, and then you're done. There's no actual interaction that you need to have there. Or the all-you-can-eat model is probably more applicable to that example. But either way, you need to be able to develop some sort of process to get people to see this offering that you've created here. Understanding your KPIs. So what we're looking at here is churn rate. So if you have like a real software as a service subscription, churn rate is it's looked at a lot. So how much are people signing up for versus how much are people unsubscribing to? Is what that is. If your KPI is purely revenue to membership or subscription revenue, you know, that's a pretty common ratio to be looking at, and to be making sure that those are growing, and that the membership and subscription KPI there is also growing as well. Just that ratio is increasing. There's a bunch of different KPIs I could go into. That's a whole different workshop, and I'll tell you guys when that is, whenever it is. But understanding how to measure it is super important. I talk about this a lot. If you can't measure it, you can't manage it, right? If you don't know what's actually happening and you just have this service out there and this reoccurring revenue stream, but you don't know how it's performing, you don't know how to make improvements on it, you don't know how to grow it, you don't know how to manage it, and you can't train anyone to do it. There's a lot of areas that we talked about here and that we can continue to talk about in a bunch of these other strategies of where you can train someone to manage this. If you have, so I'll go to, if you have like a training offering or some type of webinar offering, you can train someone to give that webinar. You can train someone to do that training, and then you can double what you're able to do. You manage those areas, and then you can grow your recurring revenue with two different options there. So that's how you can really look at growing the recurring revenue stream. Now, it's a very quick order of operations walkthrough, but as to implement something like this, these are the step-by-steps. There's obviously a lot more that goes into it than just what we skimmed over here. But if you follow these steps, you'll be able to actually get something going.
Stephen, were you going to talk just a little bit about retention?
Yes.
Good.
Thank you for reminding me there. The KPI, so that's a little bit, I actually meant to bring that up on the KPI piece. The retention part is very, very important. So once someone subscribes to be a member of your community, you're not done, right? That's not the finish line. Finish line is to keep them. And what that is, and we're going back to Maslow there, of they need to continuously be felt that they're wanted and needed within certain types of memberships, and that they're a valued member of your community. If you are able to strategize and have that actual retention strategy where your clients, your customers, your purchasers feel that way, they're going to continue to buy from you. I'll use Netflix as an example. If Netflix became stale and they didn't update their TV shows, their movies, or anything like that, I wouldn't be a subscriber anymore because they don't value what I want to watch. The diversity of the ability there. So if you're not being able to continuously service and make those customers feel as that belonging piece, you're going to start to lose them. So that's an important part in this strategy that needs to be continuously looked at. That's a KPI that should be monitored all the time.
Great, thank you. And Stephen, a question that Lara put in the chat is, will you share the order of operations or presentation with us afterwards?
Sure, absolutely, I'll do that. You can look at the different models that we did not go through, and if anyone has questions on those, we're always here to help. Any other questions? Because that's all I'm talking about today.
I just want to say thanks a lot, Stephen. It's really been productive for me, and just so thanks a lot.
Yeah. Thanks for being my case study there, Keith.
Hey, my pleasure.
Yeah.
That was really great. Thank you so much.
Thanks for coming, Rebecca.
Yeah, thank you, Steve.
Thanks. It's good to know that I'm doing a lot of the things right. And
yeah, it's good to see them
good
all.
Pieces I can add to it.
Yeah, good.
Stephen, will you stop sharing your screen?
I would love to stop sharing my screen.
Okay. We can see everybody.
Yeah, there we go. That work? Yeah.
Yeah. Any other questions for Stephen before we wrap up? We all want it to get him one-on-one so we can have them help us specifically with our own businesses.
How does this work? Yeah.
I think he needs a front of the line pricing.
Yeah. Thanks, Tosha. Yeah, absolutely.
Good. Thank you, Stephen. That was super useful, and I hope everybody found it informative. And for you NIA members, we will make sure you get the copy of the presentation, and we'll also put the recording up on our site for you to review later. Or I know a couple of you came in late, so you can go back and catch the beginning. And then any of you guests that were here today, if you're interested in hearing more about Network in Action or looking for a really strong business community, you can either reach out to myself, Sharon at networkinaction.com, or Stephen. What's your email address, Stephen?
Stephen at denverbusinesscoach.com.
We'd love to hear from you. So thank you, everyone. It was great to be together today. I think we all learned a lot and got our creative juices flowing a bit on some things we can do. So have a great afternoon, and we'll see you again. All right, take care.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Bye, everyone.